people have that thing where it's like, hey, man, let bygones be bygones. Kiss my ass.
Gentlemen, start your anger.
I like to dance a jig on your grave.
On the Adam Carolla Show.
Now I scare myself when I hear what I sound like. Not the words, but the nasally drone. 866-901-ADAM. We don't need to talk to you just yet because it is time to start This Week in Rage.
This Week in Rage.
I'm angry. What a dick. I pay taxes, bitch. What?
Number 5.
Number 5, the new James Bond. Oh, not the old James Bond. Not the good-looking guy who's betting the women with all the cool gadgets. This is the new one who's struggling with his sexuality. He's deeply troubled. He's very human. I don't want human. That's why I go to the effing movies. I want to see a guy who's living a life that's not my own. If I want human, I'll go stare at my own fat ass in the mirror. And I'll think about all my problems. I want a guy who's walking around in a white dinner jacket, nailing hot chicks named Badgie Galore, and then firing them out of an ejection seat. That's the ultimate male fantasy. Go out, have sex with some hot, strange chick, and then say, hey, you want to take a ride in my DB4? And about 2 blocks away from the hotel, I just hit the button on the shift console, and she goes sailing out of the roof, and we never talk again. Oh, how awesome would that be? But now, the new James Bond, he's troubled. He's edgy. He's having his nutsack hit with a tube sock with a softball in it. He's being tortured. Meanwhile, he gets used by the chick. She rings him like a bar rag, takes his money, takes his information, and tosses him right out of the hotel. I don't want to see that James Bond. It's 007, not 00 pussy. You got it?
Number 4.
Great Danes. I didn't even know I had thoughts about Great Danes until earlier this week, but evidently I did. Look, here's the deal. I like a big dog, but this is a ginormous dog. I want a big dog, but not a dog I could ride. You understand? I want to hook it up to a plow. I'd like companionship. I don't need it to drag my 4x out of the drainage ditch. You understand? And how much must a Great Dane consume? I mean, you want to talk about the planet. You want to talk about Earth-friendly. Having a Great Dane is like having 2 more people living in your house crapping out in the yard. This thing must eat a horse and a half every other week. I don't need it. And here's my simple rule of thumb. If the dog's fecal matter in volume weighs more than yours, he's out. That's the whole thing. You understand? You must defecate less than the dog on a weekly basis. I'll be over with a graduated cylinder and some gloves, and we'll work it all out. Get Schimmel the video and put it on YouTube. All right.
3.
Yeah. This is people who want to bond because we're lefties. I'm left-handed. And every once in a while, I'll be filling out something at a bank or something, and some stranger will come up to me and go, lefty, huh? And I go, at that point, I should now lie. I should now quickly toss the pen into my other hand and go, nope, just practicing in case my right hand ever gets crushed.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. But oh no. And it's never happened in my life that someone came up to me and said, lefty, huh? Huh. I'm not left-handed. I always wondered what it was like. Nope, they're lefties too, and now they want to bond. 20% of the planet is left-handed. I'm sure there is, no, 1.5 billion people that are left-handed, but somehow we're all part of an elite fraternity. And by the way, that's where we get our creativity. My left hand, that's where I get my creativity. My left hand, it can be creative, but I don't get my creativity from my left hand. And by the way, you work at a coin-op laundry, so what happened to your left hand? It sure let you down. You should use your left hand to write something creative so you don't have to use the gig in the coin-op laundry. But we're the same guy now because we both have left hands. And now my feeling is like, what else? Because if you're going to make it that broad, then we should say, hey, you have 2 nostrils. Hey, brother, come on, up top. We're part of an elite fraternity of human beings that walk erect, have nostrils, make water twice a day, and have corneas. Please, everybody, I barely like myself.
Number 2.
Oh, these goddamn movies. These goddamn movies that want to settle everything with a dance. If it's not a TV show now, it's a movie. The only movie I want to see less than a dancing movie is a dragon movie. Perhaps we could combine the genres.
Yeah, dancing dragon.
Dancing dragon movie. I don't know how it works. There used to be a dance movie that came out once every 11 years. Now there's 11 every month. And there's all the sequels, too. I'm passing the sign of Stomp the Yard, too. I'd like to stomp the director who did that movie. You got the Step Up, and every single teen in America is settling every dispute with dance. And I say it's a dangerous message because we need rough and tumble, ready teens that are ready to kick some foreign ass. And 50 years from now, when some neighboring country decides to invade and we want to have a dance-off, and meanwhile they're just mowing us all over with AK-47s, we're going to be dead in the street because we think we can dance our way to victory. Well, let me say something. We used to settle our differences with something called our fists, not our feet. Perhaps we go back to those glory days. Number one, getting 36% of the vote on AdamCarolla.com. Yes, lasers being the solution for everything. Remember about 10 years ago, the laser came around and everyone said, we'll zap it with the laser. And you thought, what a fantasy. This is awesome. Because in days of yore, if you had a big mole or growth on your back, they'd have to get the scalpel out, they'd have to burn it off, or they'd have to do a laser. We'll zap it with the laser. Oh, you got that tattoo removed? Yeah, we'll zap it with the laser. Oh, you can't read, you're nearsighted, you're farsighted, you have astigmatism? We'll zap it with the laser. Hey, you got pubes growing around your waist and up to your forehead? We'll zap it with the laser. The laser doesn't work! I see people walking around with tattoos that I can read from across the street, and they're on their 18th laser shot. Does nothing. All it does is irritate the skin, and then when the skin finally heals, there's still a comedy and tragedy mask underneath it to be seen. Or yes, I do, but not with you. That's on my right cheek. The point is this. The laser doesn't work on the eyes. It doesn't work on the tats. It doesn't work on the pubes. I get ingrown hairs on my neck. I have a bumpy black man's neck, and somebody told me about 5 years ago, hey man, just laser it. It'll zap the hair off. You won't have to shave your neck. You'll never get another ingrown hair. Well, I went in one time for an hour worth of torture, the most painful thing I've ever endured, and then 3 weeks later, I had huge lumps all under my chin because the hair had grown back. It's just ingrown and infected now because it was underneath the skin. Listen, I'd like to take the laser and turn it on the a-hole who invented the laser. You've done nothing except for create a longer pointing stick. Back in the day, the professor used to have to stand 2 feet from the chalkboard. Now he gets to stand 5 feet from the chalkboard. That's it. No more promises. I've had an ass full of lasers.
Until next time.
Hold on a second.
This week.
Oh, what an ass.
In Rage.